ऐसी है कि इंटरनेशनल निजाम ऐसा बना हुआ है उसमें आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते। हम लोग आ रहे थे वहां से, टूरिस्ट से, अल्जीरिया से, मोरक्को से आ रहे थे गजा जाने के लिए, किसने रोका? लीबिया ने रोक दिया। और हर स्टेट के पास बॉर्डर है, अगर आप बॉर्डर क्रॉस करेंगे तो आप गोली मारेंगे। हर जगह आप इंडिया से बॉर्डर क्रॉस करेंगे किसी भी तरफ, चाहे बर्मा में हो, नेपाल में हो, कहीं बॉर्डर क्रॉस करेंगे आपको गोली मारेंगे। ये इंटरनेशनल सिस्टम बन चुका है। इसमें अगर सिस्टम ये ना होता या अगर मतलब खुला हुआ होता, जैसे लेबनान में से खुला हुआ था, बहुत लोग वहां गए हुए बैठने के लिए, यहाँ पर न सिर्फ सामान करना बल्कि मैं समझता हूँ लाखों लोग वहाँ लड़ने के लिए पहुंच जाते हैं वहाँ पे।
When people asked in the parliament, what did India do? Jaishankar told, we are sending money to UNRWA. We are sending money to, we are sending money to UNRWA as aid for Palestinians, but UNRWA has been banned in Palestine. Right? Like that happened in January 2025. On the other hand, Nirmala Sitharaman shakes hands with Ben, I can't pronounce his surname. And then Netanyahu calls the Prime Minister, my dear friend Narendra, happy birthday. So these are all happening, these are all bloodshed. Every word they spill is a bloodshed. And these words are what we won't use when we are speaking in Palestinian terms. What does it mean to speak in Palestinian terms? These are the words, these are the narratives that we won't use. Palestine issue is a Muslim issue also. It is a settler colonial issue also. It is a female reproductive rights issue also. We don't even see how much women are struggling with their menstrual cycle in Palestine, to just have decent living in Palestine, to give birth in a safe, secure condition. We are not counting all of that, and have you ever imagined that we have to imagine that? So we have to also assert simultaneously that these are Muslim women. When they speak on camera, they use Allah for every third word. And you want to subtract the Muslimness of a Palestinian cause, which is majoritarily Muslim. I don't understand why you need that, except you're scared of Muslim and you're Islamophobic. Right? And then, like when I watch these videos of the war, right, the buildings are collapsing, everything is going down, and you see like, you don't know the names of the building, you don't know the addresses of the building, these are just images in the background. We live our everyday life, as though these are just, this Gaza's genocide is just the background. Right? Most of India lives, at least not us, we always protest, we show up for protest, we show up for, all sorts of cultural events around Palestine, but most of us live like Gaza genocide is in the background. We are normalizing genocide. We are normalizing genocide by doing that. If we can go on with our lives when a genocide is happening, if we can do everything as normal when genocide is happening, that means that tomorrow when there's genocide against anyone in the world, other people will also respond to this like this. It actually jeopardizes our future. We need to understand India is a party to the Genocide Convention, and it has not fulfilled its commitment to prevent genocide, right? And if we are going to not talk about genocide right now and what is happening in Gaza in its own terms, in the terms that they speak for themselves, in the present that they see for themselves, in the histories that they mark as the origin point of controversy, or origin point of the conflict, then we are not doing justice. And so we learn to speak in Palestinian terms, and that's why we have this, this entire series that has been started by the fraternity movement. And whatever we have done is not enough. Even the people in the room, whatever we have done is not enough, right? Even this talk series is not enough. Too late, not enough, but we all recognize that. But we are trying to do as much as we could in the little political power that Muslims have in India today. We all know as oppressed people, when something will become enough is when a struggle for liberation succeeds. Resistance will continue until liberation. We can't say that we have done enough because we have failed Gaza tremendously. And only when the resistance succeeds, we can say that we have done enough. So with that, I pass the mic over to Dr. Zafrul Islam Khan, who was the former chairman of Delhi Minority Commission, and as I said, has authored books on contemporary political dispositions of Muslims and others as well. And he's worked with the Libyan Commission, he's worked with in all other prestigious places, and has seen how India's relation with its Muslim has developed both internally and externally. And I think we will gain a lot more listening to him. And so I pass the mic over to Dr.
India has been with Palestine from the very beginning. From the very beginning. Indian Muslim leaders like Muhammad Ali Jawahar, Allama Iqbal, Dr. Ansari, and so many people were interacting with Palestine in the 1920s, in 1930s, in 1940s. And the Palestinian people were so impressed with the Indian leadership that was taking their issues worldwide and speaking about it and interacting with them, going to Jerusalem to take part in their conferences. That when Muhammad Ali Jawahar died in London, they insisted that he must be brought to Jerusalem and be buried there. He is now buried in the precinct of the Aqsa Mosque. In the Aqsa Mosque. I mean, this honor was not given to anybody else in the world. So our interaction with the issue of Palestine is very old, and before the independence of India, we know how Jawaharlal Nehru and how Mahatma Gandhi reacted to Palestine. Jews came to Mahatma Gandhi seeking his support for the for the Judaization of Palestine, and he said, it's very common and people know it very well, and there is no harm in repeating it. He said that Palestine belongs to the Palestinians, to the Arabs, just as England belongs to the English and France belongs to the French. It's so clear. There was no ambiguity. After independence, when Palestine was converted into Israel the next year, or the very next year, we became independent in August 1947, and the Jews declared unilaterally their state in May 1948. At that time, India refused to acknowledge it, refused to accept it, refused to recognize it. And in 1952 only, India recognized Israel as de facto. De facto means it exists, yes, but we did not consider it as a de jure entity. So this continued, and India allowed them to open a consulate only in Bombay, not in Delhi. And that continued until 1992, when Oslo Accords were almost signed. They were signed 1993. At that time, India recognized Israel. That now the Palestinian issue has been solved, and now the Palestinians have accepted Israel. So we should also do the same. And then only the Israelis were able to open their embassy in Delhi. So we cannot say that whatever is happening, whatever is the Indian states stand towards Palestine and towards Israel is the same as has been. It's very long history. These people came in 2014 only. Before that, we were steadfastly standing with the Palestinians. Yasir Arafat used to come here, and he was always welcomed by Indira Gandhi, and he used to call Indira Gandhi as my sister, and so on. So India built the Palestinian embassy in Delhi. The land was given free to the Palestinians. It is a grant from the Indian people, and the building was also built by the Indian state. I mean, the whole thing, land and structure, is Indian gift to the Palestinians. So you cannot say that India was not with Palestine. It is only a recent phenomenon after the emergence of, the success of the Hindutva project and getting their men installed there in 1914. Earlier, yes, BJP ruled India, but earlier it was cycled with coalition, and the coalition, there were leftist people and other people, the centrist people. They did not allow India to go the long haul to have good relations with Israel. But after 14, only when BJP came on its own and its prime minister became prime minister on his own, he does not need any support from any other party. So they started speaking this language, and I don't think that this is the language of the Indian people. Still, there are so many people. You can see every day. I mean, the demonstration that you just mentioned are not only demonstrations by Muslims. There are so many other people also. Here in Jantan Mantar you go, and maybe more than half of the people will be non-Muslims. They are also concerned. Whenever people from here go to Palestine, to Gaza earlier, I mean, not these days, always they used to be something like half of them or more than half of them non-Muslims. So it is Palestine is not only an Islamic issue. Yes, it is an Islamic issue because Palestinians are Muslim and they are persecuted because they are Muslims. But it is also a humanitarian issue. It is also a human rights issue. It is also a colonial issue, post-colonial issue. The Israeli project is actually a settler colonial issue. Settler colonialism has succeeded in some areas, including Palestine, where in the place of Palestinians they were driven, they were driven away, they were killed, and their lands were taken away from them, and Israel emerged. So you can look at the Palestinian issue from many angles, the way you want to see it. Even I think Christians, there are so many Christians in the world who are sympathetic to the Palestinians because know that a great wrong has been done to them. So it is at one time, I mean, a person can be a son, a person can be a father, a person can be a grandfather. So one human being can have many existences in this world, and likewise Palestine is an Islamic issue, is a human rights issue, it is an Arab issue, and so on. I mean, the way you would like to look at it, but it is basically an issue of dispossessment of a people from its land. And it's going on from 1947 to this day, 48, to this day. I mean, it started, I mean, just to mention that the issue did not start on 7th October 1923. Actually, it started in 1918 when Britain took over after having issued the Balfour Declaration earlier in 1917. Then they started Judaizing Palestine, giving free land to them, letting them settle there, while the Ottomans had prohibited. The Ottomans had said that you can use it, and when the British opened the gates for them, and this is how, from 1918 to 1947 or 48, they had become so powerful, and the British also gave them freedom to have their own army, that's called Haganah, which later became what is now the Israel Defense Forces. And the British also tolerated so many militias, like you have here, so many Sanatak Sansthan, and you have this kind of this Sena and that Sena. Here also they used to have a number of Jewish militias, I mean, militant militia who are working to gain arms training, and this was used in 1948 to drive away the Palestinians and take over their land. And whatever was left at that time, 1948, when the Jews declared unilaterally their state in Palestine, the Arab states in Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Iraq intervened, but not wholeheartedly actually. And they could achieve only what is now West Bank of the River Jordan and Gaza. Gaza was taken over by the Egyptians and West Bank was taken over by the Jordanians. This remained with them until 1967. In 1967, the Jews, or rather the Israelis, attacked these areas and took over not only these areas, but also other areas like Sinai Peninsula and like the Golan Heights, they took over. Later Golan Heights and Sinai was liberated by Syria and by Egypt. Golan Heights partially only, not all of it. Part of it is still occupied by Israel. But this remained, this became, Gaza became Israeli occupied and West Bank also became Israeli occupied. So since then, the problem with the the Palestinians is that they don't have any state. This is the crux of the problem, that they don't have a state, and therefore they don't have a voice in the United Nations. They cannot go to the international court. Only states can go. So this has been their problem right from 1948. And they are like stateless people. Others are speaking for them. Egypt was speaking for them, Jordan was speaking for them, or Syria and Iraq was speaking for them, but they themselves did not have a state. 1947 or 57 or now whatever is here, the Palestinian Authority, it is actually not a state. It is only a kind of municipality which is not recognized by the world. I mean, right now, it is not a full member of the United Nations. It is, yes, a member of some international organization, but not a full member like India is, or like Pakistan is, or like even Burma is. So many countries, I think right now, something like 200 countries are full-fledged members of the United Nations, and therefore they are present everywhere in all these forums, and also they can go to the international court. But Palestinians did not have this. There was a lot of pressure on Israel to settle this problem, and that's how they agreed on Oslo. Oslo, of course, that was by the intervention of Norway. So many, maybe 2-3 years of negotiation went on, and Oslo Accord was signed, and the Palestinians were fooled. Actually, they did not have that expertise to understand the intricacies of what they were signing. They signed Oslo Accord, and it said that within 5 years, the Palestinian state, that is full-fledged Palestinian state, will emerge. But now, in 1993, and now we are in 2025, there is no Palestinian state. What you have is a Palestinian authority, which is a municipality. Like Delhi municipality has no power, no army, no very small police force. So Israelis, in fact, fooled them to sign away and accept Israel, while Israelis kept the bargaining chips with them. Only if Israel says yes, they can become a state. Only if Israel says it can have rights, it can have borders, it can have all these things. Right now, Israel has all the authority and all the power, all the international presence which is available to any state, while Palestinians don't have anything. This is the problem which Israel has been exploiting, and Oslo Accords were taken by giving some good expectations to the Palestinians that you will get this. But in the return, they did not get anything. What the Israelis got, that using Oslo, they got the recognition of all the states in the world. Most of the states, I think in 1993, something like 40 states were recognizing Israel. And after 1993, after Oslo, they fooled all the world. The Palestinian issue has been solved and there is no need for you to boycott us. Now you recognize us. So India also was fooled like this. And India recognized Israel while there is no Palestinian state. I mean, they were told that now everything has been settled. Now there will be a Palestinian state. Palestinians will have their rights. So this is the crux of the problem. And what happened on 23rd of October 1923 from Hamas and from some smaller militant organizations like Jihad Islami, they actually wanted to remind the world, remind Israel, the Palestinian issue is unsolved. Solve it. That was the cry of a person who has been long so many years. It was not something like some attack on Israel. They know that Hamas or Jihad Islami cannot take over Israel. Israel is a very big state. Israel, until now, they used to say, I don't think what is the situation now, they used to say that we are the fifth largest army in the world. And Americans, especially Americans and other Europeans also, they have made it sure that Israel can withstand, can face the aggression of all the Arab states. When all the Arab states attack Israel, Israel will still be able to repulse them and emerge victorious. This is how the kind of air force and the kind of equipment they had, the kind of rockets and this and that, all that, they were equal to all the Arab states' strength. So there is, I mean, even Hamas knows this, and Jihad Islami knows this. So what happened on 23rd October was in fact an attempt to jolt them, do something. Give us our. There was the total Israeli blockade on Gaza from 2006. So what they did was just jolting Israel and the world that you should do something for us. It was not something like an invasion of Israel. They cannot do it. They don't have. At the best, they had at that time 40,000 people, armed people, Hamas had. So 40,000 people cannot take over Israel. Israel itself has something like 2 or 3 lakh army, big army, big, has all the latest gadgets in the world. You have seen it, how they got to the Hezbollah, 5,000 people killed using technology, and how they killed Haniya using technology. So Israel is very much advanced in that. Hamas knew this, but Hamas and Jihad Islami, which is a smaller organization, I think they did not anticipate that Israel will be so vicious. I mean, if they had attacked, earlier also, you could also attack them. Yes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and then it is stopped. Not for 2 years. In fact, what is happening is that Israel has, and of course America is with them, Putin. There is no question that America does not know, or America is not in the loop. No, America is fully in the loop, and what Israel is doing has the full American support. Now they want to implement their older plans. Greater Israel, full, all of Palestine to be converted into Jewish land. I mean, they don't want Palestinians in Gaza, they don't want Palestinians in West Bank, go away. I mean, maybe at this time, due to the international pressure, a lot of pressure, international, South America, Africa, most of Asia are now against Israel. There is a lot of pressure, and we have seen that 146 countries in the United Nations in the General Assembly they voted against Israel. So there is a lot of pressure on them. You're talking about demonstration in India. It is nothing just compared to what is happening in Europe. Just look at them. I think something like 30,000 demonstrations have taken place in these 2 years. What is happening in India? Nothing. Not just a few dozens. So the world has turned against Israel. The Israeli propaganda, the Israeli myths have been exploded, and now the world is against them. But still, America and Israel think that it is time they must grasp this opportunity to reshape the world. They are trying. They failed, and now through the 20-point program that Mr. Trump has given just a few days ago, I think in July, September, that Hamas would accept it. I think if Israel was not so vicious, now Israel has deprived them, not only destroyed everything in the infrastructure, the roads, the hospitals, universities, mosques, churches, whatever you think has been destroyed in Gaza, still they are fighting. But Israel has used water and used as food and weapon. It has weaponized water and food. And now, if Hamas is going to accept it, and themselves accept it, I think last night they accepted it, it is because of the miseries to which the Palestinian people, the ordinary people have been subjected. Now people are dying due to malnutrition, children are dying, there are no medicine in the hospitals. Most of the hospitals have also been attacked. So, if Hamas is accepting this proposal, which is more like a surrender actually, but they have no other way. They have blockaded from all sides. No food is coming, no water is coming, no weapon of course is coming, nothing. Maybe there is a little support from Yemen, yes, otherwise there is no support. So if they have accepted it, with some conditions of course, they have not accepted in full from program, the plan. They have said that they will not accept certain things like disarming Hamas or like putting their international government. They have not accepted it. So they have also accepted it only in part, not in full. But they have accepted it. This is the question. And the thing is that whatever Mr. Trump presented was not a full-fledged plan. These are just ideas. And ideas are open to discussion and to negotiations. So I think negotiations will go on, but at least there will be some relief for the Palestinian people in Gaza who are really starved, who are not getting food or getting medicines, or even most of their houses, I think, something like over 80% of houses or buildings have been destroyed. So if they have accepted the plan, which is truly a settlement plan, they have accepted it only because of the misery that the Palestinian people are facing, not because Hamas is so big that it has to surrender, but only because of the daily problems that the Palestinians are facing in Gaza. So it is a situation. I think we have not seen the last of it. In the future, we will see that Palestinian people, Hamas or without Hamas, they will rise again and they will fight again for their rights. And one good thing is that now the world is with them. The majority of the world is with them, and the midst of Zionist myths about they are being victimized in Europe and all that, and Holocaust and all that. This has been, in fact, it has been exploded. People are not buying it. They are saying that if you had some protocols, you cannot do. I mean, was there in Gaza also. So it's a very, in a way, people have suffered a lot. I mean, suffering of Gaza people is unique in the world, I think. But also, this suffering has led to a sea change in how the world sees Israel. Israel is now a triad state. Israel is now facing trial by the international court. Israel, so many countries, especially in South America, have severed relations with Israel. Colombia just 2 days ago has expelled all the Israeli diplomats from there. So this is something new. Many European countries, I think 14 countries, have now recognized Palestine as a state. So a lot of things have also changed because of the suffering of the Palestinian people. So it is actually a mixed bag. They have suffering and also they have progress.
It was really important to go through their history and also put Hamas in perspective. Yeah, we will shortly open up the floor for questions. I also want to add that yes, I agree with you. India has not done enough at all because we have purchased between 1999 to 2010, we have purchased 9 billion worth of weapons from Israel. And all of these weapons, as Anthony Levinstein argues in his book, Palestine Laboratory, all of these weapons are tested on Palestinians, Palestinian lands, through surveillance, through defense technology, and Palestinians are guinea pigs in this defense enterprise that Israel is building. And also, Adani, Ambani, and Reliance, Adani, and Tata, Mahindra, all these groups have ties with defense industries in Israel. Adani manages Haifa port. 70% of the Haifa port stakes are with Adani. Right? So we are talking about investments in economy worth billions. And we don't see the blood in our hands enough right now, the contemporary India. I'm not saying historical India as Dr. Zafar has already mentioned, the historical India had under various pressures, one of the pressure being from Muslim electoral, pocket, has stood with Palestine, also fought against colonialism, also against settler colonialism and so on and so forth. Completely agree with you on that. But today we are doing not enough. We don't see the blood in our hands. We don't, and specifically the right-wing people don't see the blood in their hands in this sense. Okay, there was one person when I was protesting in Delhi Metro, so every day I go to office, I hold like a placard, right? And there was this one person, placard of like asking people to attend, go to protest, there's genocide happening. Because the only time I get is during that passage. Otherwise, life is so busy. Our life is so busy. So that time I hold the placard, and one guy came up to me and he told me he's not even disciplined, like, proper right with like tika and everything, like, but then he came and told me, I want Gaza to be erased from her. I don't even want to say that. Like, that is the amount of hatred that some Indians are holding, and that is precisely why we have to recognize that we live in a society that is against Gaza and it's against Palestinians right now. And we have to transform the society. Transform the society generatively. It's not just like, I know it's very disparaging to hear that India is like that, and it's very disparaging for some of our Palestinian friends to see India change its stance. It's a lot of despair that we are holding at this moment, but we have to transform. To transform, we need action. We need action. We need to show up for protest. We need to stop buying from certain brands. We need to also stop people from buying those brands, right? So I'll end with that. And thank you so much, Dr. Zatul, for this amazing, history that you provided us. I'm pretty sure the audience have benefited from that history that you provided us, and also have questions. So opening the floor to questions.
Gaza is, we don't know. I doubt if many of them have gone, to YouTube or internet to find where Gaza is, but they are speaking actually from point of view of Islamophobia, which they have to affect. I mean, they hate anything which is Muslim. But this is a very small population of India. I think something like 10 and 15% of India, which is so blind in its Islamophobic, thoughts. If there are people who are active on social media or Israel, or if you come across people who support Israel in this, they are a minority, in fact, but they are strengthened by the system at this time, by the police and by the government policy at this time. They feel that they are really empowered to say these things. But in fact, Indian people, I should think, majority of Indian people are with Palestine and they know what Palestine is, especially the older generation. I mean, who are 60, 40, 50, 60 years old, they know what is Palestine, and they support it. But the issue is that if you come out now, most likely you will be arrested. Most likely your demonstration will be attacked, by hooligans. They are ready anywhere, even by the police. So this is why you don't see so much demonstration in India because people are afraid. And what has happened to some in Delhi and other places, maybe in Kerala it was free because the policy that the different government there. But in other places, especially in the north, demonstrations that faced not only the Hindutva hooligans, also the police also has either denied them right to demonstrate or arrested them and slapped cases against them. So this is how and why people are actually afraid. I mean, you cannot see so many demonstrations today. Otherwise, in a normal way, I think it will be just like Europe. Missing. A lot of people must have come out in normal ways to demonstrate for Palestine.
Yeah, I hope so too, but there is also a lot of anger about why people don't come out. I read this interesting comment in social media below, some Israel, India, kind of picture together. And one of the person replied there that every nation will do things according to their interests, not their morality, not morals. They were guided by not by morals, but their interests. That is the way that, right-wingers think in India who are not standing with Palestine, right? And that is also serving our own interests is what's stopping us from questioning one of the excruciatingly painful incidents, one of the excruciatingly painful phenomena we are witnessing, right? Which is the genocide of Gaza. I think we should go beyond the interest, working for our own interest. Mentality. I know it's very threatening. I know it's very scary. I have time and again stood out of studios, stop people from going out in West Side, and I only tell this because I think everyone can do it. I've gone outside studio, West Side, stop people from entering McDonald's, stop people. I was the only person there. I organized a protest in Kerala, like you said, and there were only 5 people, but there were 15 members from special branch, from NIA, from different places, right? You are wasting so much resources for 5 people holding placards in Manali, in Trivandrum, right? Because you're threatened by what you're going to say, we're threatened by whether we will collectivize into a movement. So it was joke on them, right, by the state. So I think every one of us can show up, and if, like tomorrow at Jantar Mantar at 11 a.m. there's a protest. It's nationwide call that has been put by one of the organizations, like you can definitely come in for the protest that is happening tomorrow. So we need to stand out. We need to look beyond our interests. We need to look beyond goals that serve only us. And we need to really, India needs to start seriously thinking about the other. Who it considers as the other, Muslim as the other, or Palestine as the other. Like we need to go beyond that. We need to really accept others in this age and time of massive intolerance and hatred. Anyone has any questions?
उसको कबूल नहीं किया कंडीशनल कुछ चीजों को कबूल किया है कुछ चीजों को नहीं किया नमाज को शाम करना है कबूल नहीं किया एक इंटरनेशनल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन वहाँ पे जो की गवर्नरशिप में वहाँ करने वाले थे उसको कबूल नहीं किया है बाहर की फौजों को कबूल नहीं किया है ये कहा है कि पैलेस्टीन अथॉरिटी ही यहाँ पर हुकूमत करेगी और फिलिस्तीनी हुकूमत करेंगे टेक्नोक्रेट्स पैलेस्टीन हुकूमत करेंगे तो उन्होंने एक तरह से हाँ भी कहा है तरह से नहीं भी कहा है लेकिन उनके साथ एक मजबूत के सीधे सीधे नहीं कहते तो कल से जो है जो अटैक हो रहा है वो बहुत बढ़ जाए और अपने ट्रम्प ने कहा भी था कि एल जो है ना वो फिर तो प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि वहाँ के लोग ज्यादा आप तो रोजाना देख रहे होंगे अभी नहीं जाके देख लीजिए अलीजर के ऊपर जो है लाइव आपको वहाँ से मुस्तकिल जो है रिपोर्ट मिली है इंग्लिश वाले में भी अंग्रेजी वाले अरबी वाले में भी लोग बिलक रहे हैं लोग जो है रहने की जगह नहीं है खाने की जगह नहीं है औरतें आज कह रही है बस अभी देखता हूँ वो कह रही है कि मैंने 3 दिन से कुछ खाना खाया मैंने शक्ल नहीं देखी है रोटी की देखी है मतलब ये हालत है ये आम लोगों की हालत है कितने लोग 400-500 लोग तो है जो कि सिर्फ मेल न्यूट्रिशन की वजह से मरे ये जो फिगर आप देखते हैं 66,000 लोग मरे हैं ये असली फिगर नहीं है बल्कि ये अस्पताल की फिगर है वो केसेस जो अस्पताल में आ गए वहां रजिस्टर हो गए ये उनकी फिगर है उसके अलावा कितने लोग वहां पर अभी बिल्डिंगों के अंदर जो वहां पर मलबा है रबल है उसके अंदर पड़े हुए हैं कितने लोग अस्पताल नहीं पहुंच पाते हैं इसलिए तो वहां कोई जगह नहीं है इतना महंगाई हो गई है कि लोग पास गाड़ी है कि लोग पास ट्रक है लेकिन वो इतना ज्यादा पैसे ले रहे हैं आम आदमी के पास है ही नहीं कोई काम दुकान नहीं है कोई बिजनेस नहीं है कोई दुकान नहीं खुली हुई है कुछ नहीं है कोई आदमी के पास अगर कुछ सेविंग होगी कितने दिन चलाएगा तो इस वजह से मजबूर होकर के उसने खाना बंद हो गया अभी जो है कई महीने से जो खाना वहां पे आ रहा है वो उनका 10% का है 600 ट्रक रोजाना आते थे अब उनके पास जो है 20-30 ट्रक ही आते हैं 6% में नहीं 5% आते हैं तो वो कितने लोग काफी होगा कई लोग अभी प्रताप किलानी ने भी कुछ दिन पहले एक आर्टिकल लिखा था किसी यही इंडियन कंट्री के अंदर उसने गजा के अंदर किसी को फोन किया जर्नलिस्ट को तो उसने कहा कि ब्रदर मैंने 3 दिन से खाना नहीं खाया तो मैंने शर्म के मारे मैंने फोन बंद कर दिया और फिर मेरी हिम्मत नहीं हुई कि उसने दोबारा बात कर ये आम हालत है ये वहाँ पर मैं भी कुछ लोगों को जानता हूँ और मुझे भी शर्म आती है उनसे बात करते हुए मैंने शुरू में बात किया था लेकिन अभी कई महीने से बात नहीं किया कि वो क्या कहेंगे क्या सुनाएंगे जिंदा भी है कि नहीं जिंदा है क्या है मेरे कई दोस्त हैं यहाँ वहाँ पे हैं ऐसा के अंदर है तो और उन लोगों की परेशानी और उन लोगों की बिलकने की वजह से औरतें बिलक रही हैं बच्चे बिलक रहे हैं बच्चों के फोटो आप देखते हो उनको रोजाना फोटो पे वीडियो देखते हो देख के आदमी को मतलब समझ नहीं आता क्या करे लेकिन हालत ऐसी है कि इंटरनेशनल निजाम ऐसा बना हुआ है उसमें आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते हम लोग आ रहे थे वहां से टूरिस्ट से नाइजीरिया से वापस आ रहे थे गजा जाने के लिए किसने रोका लीबिया ने रोक दिया पर हर स्टेट के पास बॉर्डर है अगर आप बॉर्डर क्रॉस करेंगे तो आप गोली मारेंगे हर जगह आप इंडिया से बॉर्डर क्रॉस करेंगे किसी भी तरफ चाहे बर्मा में हो नेपाल में हो कहीं बॉर्डर क्रॉस आपको गोली मारेंगे ये इंटरनेशनल एक सिस्टम बन चुका है इसमें अगर ये सिस्टम ये ना होता या अगर गजा खुला हुआ होता जैसे लेबनान में खुला हुआ था बहुत से लोग वहां पे गए हुए लड़ने के लिए यहाँ पर न सिर्फ सामान करना बल्कि मैं समझता हूँ लाखों लोग वहां लड़ने के लिए पहुंच जाते हैं वहां पे लेकिन ये सिस्टम ऐसा है कि आपको गजा जाने के लिए या तो इसराइल से जाइए आप या इजिप्ट से जाइए इसराइल के बाहर आपको जाने देगा ही नहीं और इजिप्ट भी नहीं जाने देगा इजिप्ट भी लोग गए वीजा भी लोग आप वीजा नहीं मिलता अगर आप नॉर्मली पहले वीजा बड़ी आसानी से मिलता है इजिप्ट का अब वो भी नहीं मिलता अगर आप जाएंगे भी یہ تو آج کل کی بات ہے. میں تو 10-12 سال پہلے کی بتا رہا ہوں. میں غزہ جانے کی کوشش کیا, ایک انٹرنیشنل وہاں ڈیلیگیشن جا رہا تھا, ایجپشینز نے اس کو جانے نہیں دیا. ہم لوگ جو ہے بسوں میں بیٹھ کے 5 بسیں تھی جو کہ غزہ جا رہی تھی, قاہرہ سے کائرو جو ہے قاہرہ سے نکل کر کے اسماعیلیہ کے راستے سے جا رہے تھے. وہاں پہ اچانک آ کر کے فوج والوں نے کو گھیر لیا. 5 ٹرکس کو 5 مطلب بسز کو گھیر لیا. ان سے کہا تم نہیں آ سکتے. ہم لوگوں کو زبردستی لے آئے ہوٹلوں میں اور وہاں سے کہا کہ اب لوگ فوراً نکل جاؤ وہاں سے. یہ 10 سال پہلے کی بات ہے. آج تو اور زیادہ مطلب ایجپٹ کسی طرح سے تعاون نہیں کرتا. کسی طرح سے تعاون, اگر کوئی تعاون کرتا تو وہ جو رفع کراسنگ ہے وہ کھول دیتا, وہ سارا سامان ومان نہیں جا سکتا. لوگ جا سکتے تھے وہاں سے, لیکن اسرائیل وہ نہیں کرتا. اس لیے مور انٹرنیشنل ایک معاہدہ کر سکتا ہے رپورٹ ہونا چاہتے ہوں گے آپ کہ اس کے تحت اس کو $3.5 بلین $3.5 امریکہ سے رشوت ملتی ہے صاحب کہ بھائی ہم نے اسرائیل کے ساتھ رائے مت کرنا, اسرائیل کی پروٹیکشن کرنا. تو اس طرح سے جو غزہ میں جو لوگ ہیں بالکل سے تب سے بلاکیٹڈ ہیں, پوری طرح سے حصار کے اندر ہے, کھانا نہیں مل رہا, پانی نہیں مل رہا ہے. اس لیے حماس والوں نے بدرجہ مجبوری مانا ہے, لیکن پوری طرح سے نہیں مانا ہے. میں سمجھتا ہوں وہ بھی سوچ رہے ہیں, ان کی بھی عقل کی کوئی کمی نہیں ہے, سوچ رہے ہوں گے اسی طرح سے ابھی جو مسئلہ ہے اس کو ختم کرو اور آگے کی بھارت کو پانی میں ضرور کرنے ہوں گے. اور یہ تو یعنی چاہے حماس ہو چاہے غیر حماس ہو, کوئی بھی ہو, ہر فلسطینی چاہتا ہے کہ ہمارا ملک سے آزاد ہو. ہر فلسطینی چاہے وہ لیفٹسٹ ہو مارکسسٹ ہو کوئی بھی ہو, سب یہ چاہتے ہیں کہ ہمارا ملک آزاد ہو. تو وہ قوم جو زندہ ہو گئی ہے, وہ قوم جو کہ آج پورے عرب کنٹری کی سب سے زیادہ ایجوکیٹڈ ہے, سب سے زیادہ ڈاکٹر, سب سے زیادہ انجینئر, سب سے زیادہ کوئی بھی چیز آپ سوچیے گا آئی ٹی کی اسپیشلسٹ جو ہے سب پیلسٹینین. تو ایسی قوم کو غلام بنانا دوبارہ 48 والی بات نہیں ہے. آج وہ کچھ بدل چکے ہیں, آج وہ بہت سی چیزوں میں اسرائیل سے بھی آگے, کوئی کم نہیں ہے مجھ سے. تو آج انہوں نے اگر پیچھے ہٹ کے ذرا سا عبور کر لیا ہے, وہ صرف اس لیے کہ جو بلاکیڈ ہے, جو کھانا پینا نہیں مل رہا ہے, جو ہر دم بمبارڈمنٹ ہو رہا ہے, روزانہ آپ دیکھتے ہوں گے کچھ نہیں تو 100 آدمی مر رہے ہیں روزانہ, اس میں سے 10-15 تو کھانے کے مر رہے ہیں اور باقی جو اسرائیل کی گولیوں سے مر رہے ہیں. تو اس کو روکنے کے لیے انہوں نے اگر کیا ہے تو میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ ان کو برآمد نہیں کرنا چاہیے, بلکہ اگر آپ بھی ہوتے تو شاید نہیں کرنا.
سر یہ نوبل پرائز کا بھی بات آ رہی ہے کہ جو اب ٹرمپ نے منصوبہ پیش کیا ہے, اصل ہے نوبل پرائز, کیا اس سے قیام امن آ سکتا ہے اس خطے میں, یا نوبل پرائز کا معاملہ ہے؟
نوبل پرائز اس کو نہیں ملنے والا ہے, یہ اس کی خواہش ضرور ہے, لیکن ایسا نہیں جس آدمی کو اسرائیل نامنیٹ کرے نوبل پرائز کیا اس کو ملنے والا ہے. یہ اس کا خواب ہے, اس کو نہیں ملنے والا ہے. اس لیے کہ اور بھی جو باتیں وہ کہہ رہا ہے کہ 7 جگہ میں نے جو ہے جنگ رکوائی, سب جھوٹ کی بات ہے. کہیں جنگ نہیں رکی ہے, نہ آذربائیجان کی رکی ہے, نہ انڈیا والی جو انڈیا مانتا ہی نہیں, انڈیا سے ناراضگی کی وجہ اس کی یہی ہے. انڈیا نے تسلیم نہیں کیا کہ ٹرمپ کی وجہ سے جنگ رکی تھی, کیونکہ انڈیا کہتا ہے میری وجہ رکی تھی, میں نے اتنا زیادہ پاکستان کو پریشان کیا کہ پاکستان مجبور ہو گیا. تو یہ جب لوگ جو کنٹریز نہیں مانتے اس چیز کو تو نوبل پرائز کے والے باتوں نے کیا امید دیتے ہیں. مجھے کوئی امید نہیں کہ دینے والے خاص ضرورت ہے, لیکن وہ جو کر رہا ہے اور جو خود اپنے ملک کے اندر کر رہا ہے, اپنے ملک کے اندر وہ فوج استعمال کرتا ہے, فوجوں اپنے شہریوں کے خلاف, یہ امریکہ میں نہیں ہوتا, انڈیا میں بھی نہیں ہوتا. انڈیا میں بھی آپ جو گورنمنٹ ہے وہ پولیس کو استعمال کرتی ہے, فوج کو نہیں لاتی. فوج کو لانا بہت بڑی بات ہوتی ہے. کوئی ملک اپنے ہی شہریوں کے خلاف فوج کو استعمال کرے, وہ وہاں کر رہا ہے, تو اس کی کوئی امید نہیں ہے. البتہ وہ اسرائیل کی طرف پوری ساتھ ہے, اور امریکہ اسرائیل کے ساتھ اس بات پر شریک ہے کہ ایسا مڈل ایسٹ بنے, ایک نیا مڈل ایسٹ بنے جو پوری طرح سے امریکہ کی چیزیں ہو, پوری طرح سے ان کے ساتھ ہو. ابھی بھی کچھ ملک ہیں جو پوری طرح ان کے ساتھ ہیں, لیکن دوسرے بھی ملک ہیں وہ نہیں ہے. آج بھی اگر آپ دیکھیے گا پورے نقشے کے اوپر تو اس میں ایسے ملک ہے, سودان ان کے ساتھ نہیں ہے, لیبیا بھی ایک طرف ان کے ساتھ نہیں ہے, الجیریا بھی ان کے ساتھ نہیں ہے, موراکو بھی ایک حد تک نہیں ہے, عراق بھی ایک ساتھ نہیں ہے, سیریا بھی ایک طرح سے آدھا سمجھیے نہیں ہے, तो बहुत से मुल्क हैं जो अभी भी उनके साथ नहीं है, और वो यमन में उनके साथ नहीं है, तो वो चाहते हैं कि ये मुल्क सब हमारे जेब में रहे, हमारे तरफ पूरा ये पूरा एरिया हमारा है। और अभी जो प्रोग्राम बना हुआ है कि गजा के अंदर इंटरनेशनल गवर्नमेंट बना है, वो दरअसल अमेरिकन बेस है। अमेरिका वहां से पूरे एरिया को कंट्रोल करेगा। वहां पर देखिएगा आप, अगर ये हो गया, ये उम्मीदें हो गई नहीं, लेकिन अगर ये हो गया तो वहां बहुत बड़ी, वहां पे अमेरिका के फौजी यहाँ पे अड्डा बनेगा, और वहां पे मालूम नहीं क्या क्या बनेगा, और वहीं से ये पूरे मिडिल ईस्ट में वो जगह बहुत ही स्ट्रेटेजिक है। आप गौर कीजिए, आप पूरा नॉर्थ अमेरिका, पूरा साउथ जो है एरिया यमन तक, और इस तरफ ये आप देखिए इराक और जॉर्डन और यमन, ईरान तक, ये सब एरिया बिल्कुल सेंटर में है इस लिहाज से जो है। तो वो चाहते हैं कि वहां से पूरा कंट्रोल करें, लेकिन मैं नहीं समझता कि होगा।
एक तो अच्छा क्वेश्चन।
Right? We have to like look at the discourses that we are creating. We have to look at the narratives we are buying in, the narratives we are breaking to create a powerful discourse. I think on everyday level, like you mentioned, we have to really engage with language politics here, which will happen at a symbolic level. It will transform consciousness. It will change our mind towards talking about Palestine in its own terms. Like Shajid Imam said, like we Muslims want to talk in their own terms, and that is the biggest crime that he has done. To tell that Muslims have to talk their own terms, and he's in jail for so many years. So, another thing that I want that we can do is, like, anytime you get to be in public space, have a display of Palestine. Remind people they're ignoring a genocide. We cannot normalize this. Have a symbol. It could be like a watermelon on your bag. It could be stickers. It could be holding posters. Do anything, right? Like that is important. And second thing, third thing I want to say that is, this is a question to Safran sir as well. Of course, boycott is definitely there, but small gestures won't just matter. We have to call for sanctions. We have to call for India to put embargo on Israeli trade. This has to be done because small material action is needed to control the transfer of weapons which India is also sending through its private and public sector to Israel. Right? Because that is in our hands. We are Indians and we want to make sure that we are not a part of genocide. We are not going to be questioned by future generations. We are going to stand with morality and not interest. So that being said, I have this question, more than like what and all we can do. Of course, you can come up with your own stuff. Other people can add what you've been doing. I think why do we have to protest? Why, like, can you explain in Hindi, like, why we need to protest? Why we need to stand against, Israel, and for what reasons?
It's not just a question of Palestine. It is your duty to just speak out if there is injustice to anyone. Within your country, outside your country, to Adivasis, to tribal, to village, to people, Maoris in New Zealand, anywhere, if it comes to your knowledge, then you must stand up and say, no, I will not agree with this. At least this is the least you can do. Say something. Do something. Be active on the social media or whatever. Write an article, write a letter to the editor and say that I am not supporting. And if millions of people say this, then it becomes the state policy and the media also takes note of it. So it's not just a question of time, but it is a question of injustice, and we should not tolerate it wherever it is. If Indians are subjected to injustice, we should speak out.
Absolutely, I agree. There's another question.
CPIM and not with the clarity and with the strength that is expected of them. And I think all of them, not only they, but other parties also, they feel that if they say something like this, they will do it in anger. And I think right now, all these parties, whenever they say something, they have to think what will be the impact for Hindus on this. So there is this is a fact not only in relation to Palestine but all other issues. Look at lynchings of Muslims in India. Nobody is speaking. Look at this I Love Muhammad issue, which has been used to demolish something like 300 houses. Nobody is speaking. So this is not just a question of Palestine and Gaza, but it is a general issue that the narrative which has been set by the Hindutva groups has frightened so many people, including the political parties, that they are also very afraid to say something which might anger the Hindus. This is the wrong analogy, I know, and this should not be like that, but this is this is how we are told by people in the party that our party is very afraid, and we cannot say it very in a way that is very clear, and we cannot take very clear stand. You will see that Rahul Gandhi did not speak, but Priyanka Gandhi spoke. So this is how they are trying to say that yes, we did, but not with the strength that was demanded or expected of them.
I want to. Yeah. So the question.
I spoke about this, and I think yes, I would remind you that I said that Hamas did not expect that the Israeli reaction will be this cautious. Usually earlier also 2005, 2006, 7, 12, 13, 18, there were skirmishes. There were Hamas people used to fire rockets and this and that, and there would be a kind of little war, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, then it stops. So I think the Hamas people are in this, and they did not expect that it will go so long, 2 years, or that the blockade will be total. Earlier also there was blockade, but it was not total. I mean, food and medicine would come in, and some people could go out. But now, after October 23, the blockade became total, 100%. No food, no nothing, no even medicines could not get in. So I think I have not spoken to many people because this period I will not go outside. If I go outside, I will meet some of them and will ask them what was their assessment. And my hunch is that they did not expect that Israel and with Israel, America also will be this cautious. And we have seen how America has helped them, and Biden was there, all kinds of arms were supplied to them, and a lot of money was given to them. I think in the very first 2-3 weeks, America gave them something like $16,000 billion aid, and now later also Biden gave them something $6 million. And now Mr. Trump also is giving them $4 billion. Billion is too much, but every billion is 1,000 million. So America has bankrolled actually this, and America is with them. And if America says don't do it, and it has happened earlier also, America has stopped Israel from doing certain things and did not do it. Right now also, I think if there was full American support, they could have done more. They wanted to expel the people of Gaza from Gaza. And now I think at least this thing has been stopped. And in this 20-point program of Trump, there is no such thing as expulsion of Palestinians. So the whole idea of Israeli plan for Gaza has failed actually. They have not, until now, they are not two years too much for any country. And even countries, when they fight, their fight is just for a few weeks, not more than that. India and Pakistan, each war was for 10, 12, 13 days. But this goes on for 2 years. This means that Hamas had actually withstood this aggression, and also that they were prepared, but they were not actually prepared that Israel will be so ferocious and that it will exact its vengeance from the common people, the children, old people, women, pregnant women, all that. What was their they did not do it, they did not deserve it. The kind of treatment that these people have got from Israel, they did not expect it. And this was, I think, there must have been their mistake. They did not take it. ये खुद गए अभी बात हम सरकार, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट जो होती है, जो स्टेट्स होती है, उनकी लॉन्ग टर्म जो है, उनके इंटरेस्ट वो नाचने गाने से जो है, कार्निवाल बनाने से नहीं पड़ता है। इस वजह से जब वक्त आया तो उन्होंने उनके साथ नहीं दिया। देखिए आपने मोदी जो है बड़ी, उन्होंने ट्रम्प ने 50% कर दिया, मोदी तो मैं कुछ नहीं करूंगा, ताकि वो कहीं उनका गुस्सा उनका कम हो जाए। तो उनके जो इंटरेस्ट होते हैं स्टेट्स के, वो उससे बड़े होते हैं, पर्सनल रिलेशन और ये जो उस तरह होते हैं उससे कुछ नहीं होता है। तो इनका मसला इसराइल के साथ, इसराइल के सपोर्ट में है, या इसी तरह से और भी जो दूसरी पॉलिसीज है। यहाँ जो है संघ परिवार की बहुत ही पुरानी पॉलिसी है, इस्लामोफोबिया यहाँ पे वहीं से आता है और वो कहीं से आता नहीं है। दूसरी भी पार्टी है, कम्युनिस्ट हो, कांग्रेस हो, कहीं भी इस्लामोफोबिया नहीं है। तो सब लोगों को एक साथ समझते हैं, जितना भी पारा उनका अपना अपना अलग अलग जो है उनका सपोर्ट जो बना हुआ सही है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद वो रिलीजन को इस्तेमाल नहीं करते थे अपनी पॉलिटिक्स बढ़ाने के लिए, जबकि संघ परिवार और उसके साथ जो उसकी पार्टी है, लोग नहीं है, ये लोग बाकायदा इसको इस्तेमाल करते हैं। तो जहाँ पर भी दुनिया में अगर उनको चांद और निर्देश के ऊपर भी लाया तो वहां पर भी कोई एंटी मुस्लिम तो उसकी भी सपोर्ट करना शुरू कर देते, इसलिए वो इसराइल की सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। इसलिए नहीं कि हकीकतन, और यही लोग हैं, और दिन की बात नहीं है, यही लोग हैं जबकि नाजी की सपोर्ट करते थे, यही आरएसएस वाले हैं। तो ये चीजें डॉक्यूमेंटेड है, ऐसा भी नहीं है कि डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है, डॉक्यूमेंटेड है, ये लोग उनकी सपोर्ट करते थे। और आज जो है ये इसराइल करते हैं, इसलिए इसराइल उनके नजदीक इस्लाम के खिलाफ है, मुसलमान के खिलाफ है, तो इसलिए उनकी करते हैं। और कल जो है अगर इसराइल ही बड़ा अच्छा हो जाए, होने को भी तो कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन बड़ा अच्छा हो जाए तो इसराइल के खिलाफ हो जाएंगे, लेकिन नहीं हो। तो इनकी यहाँ एक बेसिक, उन्होंने जब 1925 में बनी थी तब से जो है उनका जो बेसिक उनका इशू है वो एंटी इस्लामी है। वो समझते हैं एंटी इस्लाम से वो हिंदुओं को जमा कर सकते हैं, हिंदुओं को यूनाइट कर सकते हैं। वो फार्मूला का आज भी इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। मुसलमान खतरनाक है, मुसलमान आ जाएगा तो मुसलमान बहुत ज्यादा हो जाए। अभी भी हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने चंद दिन पहले कहा कि डेमोक्रेसी का बड़ा मसला है। डेमोक्रेसी का मतलब क्या है? मतलब कि मुसलमान बाद इलाकों में बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ रहे हैं, तो ये डरा रहे हैं ये मुस्तकिल हिंदुओं को, और डरा के समझते हैं कि हिंदुओं को यूनाइट भी करेंगे और हिंदुओं को पॉलिटिकल सपोर्ट भी हासिल करेंगे। तो जिस दिन ये जाएंगे, मैं समझता हूँ आज इनका पोल खुल चुका है, इस सोच का पोल खुल चुका है। तो ये जो कुछ लोग हैं जो सोशल मीडिया वगैरह पर एक्टिव रहते हैं, जिनको लगता है पूरा हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ, पूरा हिंदुस्तान नहीं के खिलाफ, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। आप जाइए जो है ना, क्या वेस्ट बंगाल में लोग खिलाफ है, क्या तमिलनाडु में लोग खिलाफ है, क्या केरला में लोग खिलाफ है, ऐसा नहीं है। बहुत से एरिया है जहाँ पे इसका कोई वजूद ही नहीं, इसलिए कि उनका वहाँ पकड़ नहीं वहाँ पे। तो ये भी जाएंगे और जिस दिन जाएंगे ये सब बदल जाएगा। और हमारी इंडिया की स्टेट पॉलिसी भी है और लोगों का भी आउटलुक है, वो सब बदलेगा। गवर्नमेंट जो है सब लोग बदलेंगे, इसलिए कि गवर्नमेंट जो है जो उसकी बात आप करते हैं, पुलिस के है, आईडी करते हैं और जेल है, जेल में डालना वगैरह, उसकी वजह से लोग डरे रहते हैं, बाहर नहीं आते हैं। जिस दिन ये जाएगा उस दिन जो है आप इंडिया को बाहर भी रखेंगे और इंडिया की जो ओरिजिनल जो पॉलिसी थी हक की सपोर्ट की परिस्थिति की बात नहीं कर रहा हक की। उस जमाने में आप देखिए जो आज़ादी से पहले भी हम स्पेन में जो वॉर हो रही थी इसमें लोग हमारे जो जाते थे वहाँ लड़ने के लिए, जो वहाँ पे जो लेफ्टिस्ट और जो नेशनलिस्ट लोग उनको सपोर्ट में जाते थे। चाइना में जो है जो जो आ रहा था मतलब उसके औसतों के कामयाब होने का पहले भी हमारे लोग जाते थे उनकी सपोर्ट में। ये हमारे खून के अंदर है और ये फिर वापस आएगा और ये अभी जो डर बना है ये डर निशान में एक
With that, I think we will close the evening. If Zafrul sir has any last comments, we heard and I hope we are able to take it forward with us.